And I returned for the second segment of the video. So, returning now, red and blue are just fighting mid. Without their medic, red should be playing fairly cautiously, but with the significant number advantage, red could take a lobby here. Of course, the blue medic is sitting on an Uber advantage, so it's going to be a really close play. And red should be looking to play a little passively because of their disad, unless they get a nice pick on the medic. So right now, blue's trying to reestablish control of the high ground. The only way to counter that would be to walk on the point, but blue's getting in close with an Uber advantage, and they're going to deal a lot of damage because of that. But with only 3 picks, it's pretty easy to say that, oh, red medic just went down to the blue scout. So all red has to do here is just hope they can get an Uber off before blue makes it to their last. Blue is being really slow, it seems, so it could be possible for red, once they get spawns, to establish a passive second hold. The demo's alone on the point, which he shouldn't be. So right here, Med goes down to the sniper. The blue sniper seems to be a consistent issue for the red team in this game, and the only way to counter that is by pocketing your own sniper to help out the counter sniping. So right here, both medics are down. In this case, it's just going to come down to pure DM and playing together. The blue sniper is absolutely showing his dominance over the red team, acting virtually uncontested from most angles which he peeks. And that's really going to be up to the red team's flank to help watch out for the sniper, as well as red's own sniper to shut down the blue one. So nothing's really happening right here. Blue's getting in the upper lobby again. They're going to try and go for an upper push. Right here, the red spies should be attempting to back cap, which would force blue out of lobby just a little bit to deal with that. Instead, the red spy is facing against the scout, which he should never really do. Right here, blue team loses 3 numbers, which makes it really possible that red team could get on second here, and they have a gun to stop any back caps. So red should be putting cap time on now. So there's a decent amount of back and forth going here, which is really only consistent with the idea of medics dying. Both teams' medics seem to be dying at really inopportune times, which sort of halt any momentum going forward. And it's hard to advocate being aggressive when you don't have a medic, but if you have a number advantage and don't have your medic, then you can still push, but I don't think blue should have had an Uber that early, unless they were building. Either way, blue uses their advantage to take out the red medic, and with a slight... Actually, no, Uber should be fairly even here. With the slight advantage, though, blue team can push onto the point. A lone soldier shouldn't be able to get that much cap time. Because pretty much now all blue team has to do is send one person onto the point and they'll win. So that was pretty sloppy by both teams, but blue team took advantage of the large amount of cap time they had on point just to sack one person in. When there's that much cap time on the point, you always should be having someone on the point. It does not matter who it is or if he's half health. You have to stand on the point, otherwise that's going to happen. So right here, red demo gets bombed instantly mid. That shouldn't be any of a worry because he should have 260 health upon entering mid. So right there, red demo goes down. It's pretty much a call sign. Hey, look for the sniper, we're pushing on the mid. So red's gonna get on the point. That heavy should already be dead. And now red team should be sending numbers onto second. And you should cap second, and then with your uber advantage, just roll straight into last. So hey, we're gonna uber. Just don't drop your demo. And red should cap unless they don't do anything about that scout and pyro behind them. Which they didn't do. Pushed without a soldier, it's never a good thing. Although a heavy and soldier could still cap between themselves if they both stood on the point. Yeah. That was a pretty discoordinated push there. That failed mostly because you didn't send anything to clear out the flank. When you have things behind you, once your uber fades, it's going to turn into a crossfire. You're going to die 90% of the time. So red medic goes down, blue team should be looking out to push second here. I'm not sure why they aren't already. But blue team is on Huntsman and throwing at this point. Well, actually that's just their sniper. Luigi throws. So some things that might help blue team on defending lasts here is by trying to get that high ground in lobby or keeping their team out of it. Or red team should be defending high ground a little more, defending lasts. That's what blue team is already doing. But blue team should be using a number advantage to get right on the mid here. Your medic's gonna go down because he was alone. Oh. Well, I can be surprised. Your medic really should have died there. So right here, blue team is going to establish presence on mid. Red shouldn't be attempting to fight it. Blue has a level 3, red has no uber. If you're playing with uber, I would agree with this sort of hold, but it's kind of risky. So the sentry goes down. Blue is actually down a sniper. That frees up red to plan the point a little more, which they're doing now. Their scouts making sure to fight this high ground, make sure nothing walks up here. Right here, blue team is looking to push high ground against the enemy combo, and that's going to result in the super exchange. This demo is... no. Demo's not going to die, but the scout's going to kill your medic. And the reason I know is that when I see a scout just sort of walking here, staring at your medic, nobody's doing anything about it, that means you didn't see the scout. And that's also seems to be a consistent issue, is that you're not doing much to stop their scout from flanking your combo. And a lot of that's just going to come down to awareness. You need to be doing 360s a lot of the time to make sure nothing's behind you when you push, but that's not really happening because red team just seems to be tunnel visioning forward without checking their rights or lefts. You want to look both ways when you cross the street, and I don't see red team doing that. So red team is pushing into lobby here. With an uber advantage like this, they should just be walking straight through left and getting on the point. If they're afraid of their sniper, that's what they should be doing, but the sniper goes down, so that's, hey, red, let's get on point. And you should see an uber push into last very soon here. Of course, red is going to want to make that sooner than later because blue team is going to be building uber. Uber's going to be fairly close, but pushing in from left with uber advantage isn't always the worst thing you can do, because you can really just sort of walk on top of this gun like the heavy is trying to do. But the blue team knows where the red team is, and they're not really too worried about it, because all that's going to happen is red's going to get forced here. And because they're sort of disparaged a little bit instead of backing out, they're going to overextend and die. So that sort of went bad because of two reasons. You didn't push soon enough with your uber advantage to do anything with it. And two, there was some degree of hesitation. Like when you're pushing into last, especially if you're going left, blue team was holding this high ground, so all they had to do is just rotate and just spam you out from this choke. So when you're pushing this, you either have to go straight up through vent on top of the gun, or you have to go straight onto the point. You can't hesitate and hold here for more than 2 or 3 seconds. That's gonna sometimes let their pyro do what he did and sort of split your team. And your medic should have died there in all reality. Got a little lucky, but when you're doing that left push, you absolutely cannot hesitate. You can't ever hesitate when you push, actually. You know, you have to commit to that decision pretty quickly. So right here, red's not in lobby when they really should be. They're holding an uber advantage. Blue team is just sort of fighting around on the point, waiting for you to push them. Red team is playing this passive. I bet you probably don't even know there's nothing in lobby. So you lose your sniper, they drop their soldier. Knowing their sniper's on Huntsman, you should be all over the point by now. So that gun should go down. Blue team is going to back off and use the uber advantage to push back onto red because blue was not forced. So they solo on their demo. All you really have to do is just tank your pyro at this point. Instead, the pyro is running back, trying to protect the med instead of being forward with the heavy. The heavy manages to get the medic, so it's not the worst trade in the world, but that leaves red 3 up and blue able to take second back. So nothing really happened with that uber there, and it's one thing a lot of lower level teams struggle to do is to really do anything with uber pushes. When you have an uber advantage like that, you really just have to push as close as you can. I'm not necessarily disagreeing with this sort of mid push here, but what could have happened is the red team just could have walked up left, and they could have actually milked their uber a little bit because the situation right here. You could have just thrown some sticks on top from here and do a decent amount of damage before you actually have to pop. But pushing a little faster through the middle point maybe would have done a little more. It's hard to say. Red team seems to definitely be at a DM disadvantage here. So right here, blue team was missing a flank. If the red team really wanted to, they could push over the blue flank and just sort of walk in for free. But right here, red team is doing a pretty good thing milking an uber out. The blue team forcing them. The demo's just in there alone. It's really hard to say what's happening with these pushes because both teams are sort of discoordinated in their own sort of way. Like the red demo dies because he's too forward, or the red heavy dies because he's too forward. I don't see the heavy or the demo sort of pushing together, which is kind of disappointing. But at the same time, neither the blue team's combo are pushing together, so pushes are both failing and succeeding in for reasons neither should be doing. So there's about 5 minutes left in the 3.5 minutes left in the game here, and I want to see Red Team take a round. I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but it is very possible Blue Team could manage something. So right there, that's a blue sniper down. Red Team should be trying to contest this high ground and lobby right here. So, in Red Team's somewhat first attempt at pushing the high ground, they do manage to force out the blue Uber, and getting that sort of early pop should give Red Team the momentum they need to actually push into last tier. And the Spy is even sort of taking care of the gun here. So this should be almost a free last for Red, but they wipe because they weren't really in deep enough. It's sort of a hard call right there, but Red Team should have been able to take lobby pretty easily with that Uber advantage. I'm guessing they just didn't have enough numbers and fast enough to do anything with it. So, 2 minutes left. It seems like Blue Team's gonna want to use some momentum to take a round here. So Red should be able to use an Uber advantage to take last here. Contesting this high ground is probably what's going to let them do that. So Ubering on top of their combo, their heavy's dead. All that really needs to happen now is something just needs to take out that sentry, and then Red can walk onto the point and secure a round. But that doesn't really happen for a couple of reasons. Mainly, I'm not sure where the scout or the demo were in that push, but it was just the heavy and pyro on the last. That's not really how you push last. You kind of need a demo with you. But that push failed just because you didn't have the right numbers in on last. It really seems like the heavy wants to be the one initiating pushes, which is fine. You know, a heavy can initiate a push however, whenever, any way he wants to, but that's not going to do anything if he doesn't have anything to back him up with. A lot of what I'm seeing here is, you know, the red heavy wants to take the Uber and do a bunch of damage, but there's nothing to clean up on it. There's no scout, there's no demo, there's no soldier. So, it begs the question, does Red Team have any real direction here in their pushes? And I don't think they do. I think it's just, hey, you know, we have this advantage, you know, let's go use it. And it sounds like a good idea on paper, but because you don't have anything to back you up with, you're not really accomplishing anything. So what I need to start seeing is that the red team there, they need to actually have their demo initiate with the heavy, or have somebody with the heavy, because if the heavy wants to be the initiator, that's fine. But he's got to have a demo, a scout, something with him that chases the damage that the heavy does. And even then, that's still a pretty bad thing. Like, the demo needs to initiate those pushes, and I saw, out of any of the pushes that were actually, like, really aggressive, I saw that only out of the heavy. So, is the demo being too passive, or is the heavy being too fast for the demo? If it's the latter, the demo's it needs to catch up, or the heavy just needs to slow down and wait for the demo. Because a lot of the times I saw the heavy pushing in while the demo was just respawning and rolling out. But at the same time, every time the demo wanted to push, he encountered the same issue with the heavy, that he could push in, but he had nothing with him. And this disparity on red team there is sort of what cost you that one round. But at the same time, it's what cost you the wins too, is you wanted to push in one person at a time, which you just can't do. You have to have everybody push in or nobody. You know, everybody goes or nobody goes, and you just need to do that. You can't not. Anyways, that's all the time I have for this demo review. Till the next time.